Welcome back, everybody. We are keeping it rolling here on the Now Morning Show. And leading up to our celebration of Indian Arrival Day, we are covering the topics that are pertinent. And a huge part of every culture is their food. And I'm chatting this morning with Chef Amit Raval about just that, about Indian cuisine, the history of it, the tracing of it, really, and what it has transformed into in a huge part of our cuisine and culture in Trinidad and Tobago today. Good morning, Chef.
Good morning, Chef, as well. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you for joining us this morning, and I'm really excited for this. I'm really excited for this conversation because it's food, and anything food gets me excited.
Yes. Same here.
All right. So let's speak about Indian cuisine in Trinidad and Tobago, and first we'll go from the past and then work our way to what it is now.
Yes.
So when it comes to the food of Trinidad and Tobago, the indentured laborers who would have come across back in the day would have brought a lot of things with them, their religion, the traditions as well, and of course the food and ingredients. What part of India really would we have had the majority of people and therefore the food come from?
So if you do some easy research, or even if anyone can Google it, you can see most of our forefathers came from Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, and there would have been people from Calcutta for a time. Now it's renamed Kolkata, the original name. They would have, some would have come in some parts of southern India as well. But if you look at the cuisine of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, you start seeing a lot of similarities to ours.
Really?
And that's where you see a lot of the grassroots of our Indian cuisine in Trinidad and Tobago. And other places they would have settled. They even have something called dal puri there. It doesn't look, it looks kind of similar to ours because they may use chana dal or something else inside of it, but it's a stuffed roti,
Right.
cooked in a pan with oil and stuff. And similarly enough, we put oil on the tower to cook our dal puri here as well.
Definitely.
Not as much as that one, because puri is generally a fried roti in Indian cuisine, right? But our cuisine has evolved so much since then. I mean, they brought some spices with them, and they were given some as well, even by the colonists at that time, continuing to bring in some ingredients for them. But eventually, things evolved, things changed. They started using the local produce of the land, which would have grown. Of course, they would have brought some of their vegetables and stuff for them. But I would invite anyone, to just this weekend check out the cuisine of Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Just Google it, and you will start amazing yourself as things you see here, like, wow, that's where it probably came from.
Right. So let's talk about that a little bit. Many people, when we think of authentic Indian cuisine, we think of different types of curries and stuff like that, but it's very different from the curry that we have here and that we know in Trinidad and Tobago.
Right.
How has it branched from, well, you said in Bihar and places of the origin that is quite similar, but when it comes to what is perceived as authentic Indian cuisine, we think about different things like the sag paneer and the tandoori and all these things. How is ours so different?
I think it's because of the regional areas it would have came from, the parts of India our forefathers have came from. All of those states are more northern states. I'm quite surprised more didn't come with them, because they eat paneer there, and they make the Mughlai kebabs, and there's a whole lot more cuisine there that I thought would have arrived here.
Right.
Which is interesting, and it probably boils down to the areas, the actual smaller regions our forefathers would have come from. You understand? It comes down to that, and then arriving here and having to cook what they were given at the same time, because they were given rations at that point in time. They were rationed rice and ghee and a lentil dal, which was lentil back in that day, and some curry, or spices, or a mixture, and the beautiful thing about that now every home or every person who went apart in those days and had made their homes and houses, everybody developed their own style of cooking, their own mixture of curry. And that's how today you can probably go in 20 different homes in Trinidad and eat 20 different types or versions of a curry chicken or a pumpkin or a bhaji or a bhai. You'll have that's the beautiful thing about it at the same time.
Yeah, it's so unique in every household. I guess it's the techniques and traditions that would have been passed down from the grandparents, great grandparents, going all the way back, and how their family just would have done it over the years, and to see that transformation. So when it comes to the cuisine transforming from, when the indentured laborers would have just come across to what we have today, we were speaking last night on the phone about their spices and their ingredients that they brought across, at some point finishing, and then they would have had to substitute with local ingredients and things that we have here. Let's talk about that.
So a big thing in Indian cuisine is cilantro, or what they refer to as dhania. But down here in the Caribbean, we have what's called shadabeni or bandania. And the word bandania, it has that ending name dania in it. So, okay, it comes from there, but it is a much stronger version of cilantro. And it's also called culantro in South America as well. But it's amazing how they found that and was able to use that. Or I'm not sure, we can ask the historian at some point in time, was that brought? Or is that native to South America? And we started using that as our finishing herb in a lot of our curries and even chokas. And one particular thing I think still stands out is that if you look into the cuisine of Bihar, it's according to Wikipedia in these places, it's quite seasonal. And they tend to let the ingredient itself shine, which is what you want to do as a chef anyway. And that's similar in other cuisines as well, whether it's a piece of pumpkin or baigan or okras. And that's what you see in our chokas. People in Trinidad are very particular about the type of pumpkin they use, how good the baigan is, how young the okra is, because that is going to let us know how good the dish is going to come out. That's going to be the end result, the quality of the ingredient. Because when you look at chokas, it's not very heavily spiced. There's no set of curry powder in there and this kind of thing. It's when some people are making what you call fry aloo, they may put some fenugreek or meaty seeds in there. To give it that taste. When we do baigan choka, and probably the further to that from India is called baigan bharta, which is roasted baigan or eggplant, as you know, with some tomatoes. And yet when we have this baigan choka, maybe our ancestors didn't have tomatoes at the time to put in there, but they had eggplant and they put it on the coal fire and they roasted it and they pull it off and like, okay, what do we have now? Put in this. So, do we even know if they had onions and garlic at that point in time?
Right.
Nah, man, we must have had garlic. We love garlic too much. Must have had garlic. But you know what, Mr. Raval, talk to us about some of the sweets, because we know that the delicacies are a huge part of the throwdown, especially when it comes down to these events that we celebrate and festivities that we celebrate.
And here's where it gets very interesting when it comes to sweets. And there's so much different varieties of sweet from every state and every village and every region. And we have barfi in Trinidad, we have laddu, we have kurma, and believe it or not, there's a sweet in Bihar called kurma as well. It looks exactly the same thing as us. Yeah, check it out. So we're seeing where their grassroots is.
So we can go across to, if somebody was from Trinidad was to go across to Bihar, we'd feel very much at home then.
Yeah, look at kurma. Funny enough, someone sent me a video the other day of a street food vendor in Kolkata. and he was making something called petit paratha. And it looked exactly the same as the paratha we make here, the bus up shot. Except he was cooking it on the tower, taking it off and using his hands to because these guys have super hands on street food vendors, right?
Yeah.
And he was also serving it with what we call chana and aloo, some chana and potatoes. Now, the spices he may have used to make that curry may slightly differ from us.
Right.
But we're also again seeing, hey man, that probably could have come from that region.
Yeah, the technique and the ingredients for the most part and the combination.
Yeah, and the concept of it at the same time, And with sweets now, that's a little more difficult part I think they would have had here. Because to make sweets, you need specific ingredients. Just like doing desserts, ask any pastry chef. You need the right ingredients. And you end up here and you're not sure. So laddu in many parts of India is made with, they use chana.
Right.
Chana besan, refined chicken flour, whatever. All we had here was dal at some point in time.
Right.
And then all laddu is made from actually dal. And it tastes quite nice, actually.
Yeah, it does. It does. It's one of my favorites.
What puzzles me the most is how barfi, they needed milk at the point in time. How do we evolve with barfi? I'm still doing some research on that. Because nowadays you need powdered milk for barfi.
Yeah.
Did you have, was there powdered milk?
I'm pretty sure they didn't have powdered milk back in the day.
Yeah, and in 1900 was there powdered milk, but there was milk and there was ghee. And if you reduce milk enough, you get, what you call penos, what you call penos with milk. And if you curd that, you get paneer or cottage cheese. And you can start making stuff from there.
Yeah, definitely. Chef Raval, I wish we had much more time, but unfortunately we don't. We do have to take a break for the news, the top of the hour. So I want to thank you so much for your time and for your knowledge this morning. And hopefully in the near future, we can have another conversation about food and maybe some actual food in person.
It sounds good.
All right. Well, Chef Raval, thank you so much for your time this morning and have a great Indian Arrival Day come Monday.
Thank you. Take care.
All right. Have a good one. We take a short break and we come back with much more right here on the Now Morning Show.